And we're rolling. Welcome back, everybody. We kind of hopped on here early. I hope that doesn't ruin anybody's schedule. I know I said 15 minutes on Twitter, but sometimes God has a different plan. So I want to welcome back Charles Mayfield and my daughter, but I also want to introduce everybody to Adeline. Can you wave to everyone? And Scott. And you guys actually work with your dad, right?
Uh-huh. Yes.
Okay. And like he said that you guys have cards.
Oh yeah, hold on, I've got those
That's
right.
so cool. That's legit. I love it. So I'm gonna ask, can I start with just asking you guys a couple, oh, there they are. Oh, and hers are pink and his are blue. That's so cute.
So cute. Love them.
So can we start off with asking your kiddos questions? I'm gonna give you guys a pop quiz, okay?
Is that
All right,
okay?
Adeline, what is this?
Farrow.
What do you know?
Which one though?
Skin cream.
No, the silver top.
Face food.
Face food.
Yeah, it's the face food. And then Scott, do you know what this one is?
Skin food.
Yeah. And Adeline, what's this one?
The oil.
The elixir.
The elixir.
That's a big word, I know.
And so which one do you use the most, Adeline?
Probably the skin food.
Skin food.
Skin food? Yeah. How about you, Scott?
Also skin food.
Okay. And I know that's true for your dad. Carlisle, which one do you use the most? Are you there, Car?
The skin food. Yes, I have bad Wi-Fi right now, so everything might be coming in a little slow.
And then I use the face food the most. Isn't that funny how like you pick different things and everybody has, yeah. And so now my next question is for Adeline and Scott. What do you like best about your dad having a farm?
I really like that we have all these animals and
Speak up, baby.
And most of the time we get to go play with them.
Oh my gosh.
Probably the pigs.
The pigs. Yeah.
The pigs are your favorite? That's awesome. I love it. And so think about that. Like when we use this face food, we're getting pigs loved by Adeline. That's so cool. That makes them even better than they would be if they were just sitting out there.
It's true.
All right, Scott, what's your favorite part about having a farm?
Probably because if we didn't have a farm, it would be like less space and we'd be cooped up in a house.
Yeah, that is a great answer, and that is so masculine.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Men love to have lots of space to roam, lots of space to think. That's really cool.
I posted on Twitter yesterday that both of my children got their PhD. We we're putting in a new holding pen for the cattle, and so we were post hole digging most of yesterday. And,
I love that.
Yeah.
That is so funny. Wait, I have a question. Scott and Adeline, what is y'all's favorite things to eat? What do you like that your dad makes that you guys like to make?
I really like the bacon.
Oh.
Yeah, absolutely. Good choice.
The bacon and the eggs.
Oh, okay. So you're a breakfast guy. Love that.
They've been carnivoring with me mostly this week just to play around with it a little bit, but yeah, it's a lot of fun. I thought one of them was going to say filet mignon, so we have these with grass finished beef. They're not these gargantuan, feedlot animals, and so our tenderloins tend to be smaller. And most of the customers get the thick cuts, but the ends, the beef tips is a common reference. I always save those for these guys, and they gobble them up. So
That's so cool. I love it. And so, Adeline, is there anything that you would like to tell everyone in YouTube land today to make the world a better place?
speak up.
I just hope a lot of people like Farrow.
What did she say?
Speak up.
I hope a lot of people like Farrow.
Oh, well, let me
Me
tell you,
too.
I think people are loving Farrow. I'm only getting great responses. And I will tell you the only thing I don't like about Farrow is when we have empty jars of Farrow.
Yeah.
No, and I do have one customer.
Wait, I have a
It's when this cap, this inner thing falls off. I'm so yeah, I'm just like, okay, they've got to figure out how to keep that on. But
I
I think
know.
the heat melts it or something.
I think it melts it, and then it creates a little bit of a vacuum,
Yeah.
and
And
it
it
pulls
pulls
it
with
off.
it. Yeah, yeah, yeah. But I mean, if you're gonna have a complaint, that's a heck of a complaint to get.
Fair enough. Yeah. With what I have to pay for those caps, especially these days, you'd think they would hold together better.
Yeah. How about you, Scott? What advice do you have for YouTube land?
Right here.
All right, let's see.
The
The
Lord
Lord
works in
works in
mysterious
mysterious
ways.
ways. That is so true, and we're finding that out. Like I had, we were on another show, and one of the people that had purchased the product was so happy with it because she had this red spot under her nose, and it literally went away, and she'd had it for years. And so that's really exciting. And I will say to everyone, I just want to thank anyone that has purchased it. And I want to go through the
Mhm.
importance of that decision. One, it supports Carlisle and I to do an extra show. Two, it literally allows for a man and his children to build a legacy and a business that isn't owned by the cabal or any kind of nefarious thing, and it's legit and it's beautiful and it's loving. And then of course it is a product that works and does great things. But I will say, Charles, tell me something about July that happened with Farrow.
Oh goodness. You talking about the sunburn?
I'm talking about, I think you had like your best month yet.
Oh, well, it's not over yet. Yeah, we're having our best month so far. What? Oh, well, we can tell that story in a minute. I'll interject it now. We did some farm walking this week, and all three of us, but especially me, are seeing how well skin food works to relieve chiggers.
Oh, how
Oh, wow.
I am covered up in them.
Oof.
So anyway, no, July has been an amazing month. We've actually, since we started working together, had a number of great months. And so, any small business, you want to sort of get to sustainable cash flow quickly, or as quickly as you can, and that allows you to sort of breathe and build and take the next step. And so, yeah, very, very excited. So far, July has been an amazing month, and we've got 3 or 4 days left. So hopefully we can keep pushing.
And that's what I was going to say next. I was going to say, as a community, we have an opportunity to kind of, vote, so to speak, to divorce
Mhm.
the system through purchasing products like this it's like a win, 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 win. It's just like win after win. And so
Mhm.
we've got a few days left. And if people can just, I know sometimes you think, oh, I'll do it this weekend or I'll do it whenever. But if I can encourage anyone that hasn't, but that they want to, please do it before the end of the month. Let's get it going. And then also now we're at a month, and there's people that have used it and they're seeing how much they're using in a month, and they can start deciding whether they want to lift it and upgrade to a subscription. I can't imagine my life without it now.
Mhm.
I can't wait to hear from your friend Deb. I believe that's
Oh,
her name.
yes. Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
She called me, and gosh, we were on the phone for probably 30 minutes just talking about her various skin history, and it sounds like she's sort of trying to address it from a nutrition side, the underlying things,
Yes.
which I was glad to hear.
Yeah.
But yeah, she should have gotten it by now, and I'm going to give her another week or so and then touch base with her. But yeah, I've seen a lot of the comments that you get from folks that have ordered it and trying it, and it really, I mean, it's not entirely cliche that the Lord works in mysterious ways. This stuff is rather amazing. And I'm actually seeing some pretty good results with chigger relief. Not a project I would have voluntarily signed up for in terms of product testing, but yeah, no, it's we have a great product, and it's, I mean, you're looking at the manufacturing and fulfillment facility, so we've got actually a bunch of boxes lined up. I'm terrible about content, and so we're going to try and record. We're going to make some cream tonight and tomorrow. It's time to make a new batch, and so but yeah, it's small batch, handmade, put together by myself and these two lovely patriots.
Do you guys
Awesome. And do you guys, when you guys are putting the batches together, do you play music or a podcast, or what's the workflow like?
I love that question.
No music.
No music. We could play some music though. That would be fun. Usually what it is, so Adeline is my vice president of manufacturing, so she really does enjoy that side of the business. Scott really the farming side, and so a little bit more hands-on with the farm animals. He learned to drive we're learning to drive a skid steer. He's still small enough where I can like put him in my lap and like fold all the safety bars down. And so I thought, let's get him working the skid steer. But yeah, music's fun, and then usually trying to keep one or both of them off the iPads from time to time. They like those iPads, but we have a good time, and it's a sort of a system, that's you put everything into an order, and so whether it's labeling jars or putting tops on jars or filling jars or whatever, it's all hands on deck.
Yeah. One of the things too that just came to me maybe a half hour before we got on is you are somebody that's been in the corporate world, and now you're kind of going out on your own, trying to create something that would be more of a residual income type thing. You have a business coach, and I just want to give him a plug because I really appreciate somebody who not only has you as a client, but he actively engages with your people. He's been in my chat before. He's engaged on Twitter, and I like that style. I think that's kind of a style to where we're going with business, is like a true loyal. Yeah, and so if you have anything kind to say about him, or you want to share anything, I know his name on Twitter is Redbeard Brian, because I looked it up. And so go ahead and give him a boost. There's lots of people that need business help.
Yeah, Brian Keith is his name, and he's been amazing. I met him through a friend. The Redbeard Accelerator program is what I'm a part of, and it's a startup entrepreneurial sort of platform program where we have calls every week, and it's really nice because Brian does a really good job of sort of facilitating everybody's issues and making the content about everybody. But whether it's marketing or fulfillment or whatever the case may be, his goal is to accelerate your business. And I'm thrilled to be working with him. I'm actually his wife, Carrie Keith. Her podcast is Carrie Owens. I think I'm going on her podcast in a couple of weeks. She's the Soul Food Podcast, I think is the name of that. But Brian and Carrie are fantastic. And yes, I his program, I think it's $199 a month. I don't want to get myself in trouble, but his accelerator program is worth every penny. And unlimited calls with him when I need them.
Wow,
So,
that's a heck of a deal.
Yeah.
Mine's way more.
Well, you're prettier than he is. So
I don't have a red beard. Okay, Carlisle, I made a huge mistake, and I forgot to feed your cats before I got started. So I'm going to roll off. You two handle it for just a little bit, and I'll be right back.
Okay. Oh my gosh. Okay, have fun. Okay. I was going to tell a funny story because I'm traveling and I had whenever I take my vitamin E and my cod liver oil, and those are like fat soluble vitamins. And I was already, like all set up in my room for the night, and I needed to take my vitamins, and I didn't have anything to eat, so I had a spoonful of my skin food because I knew I had the unscented one. So I take my vitamins, and it would be fat soluble. And I've got to say, I prefer to use it rather than to eat it. It's a strong flavor, but if you're ever in a pinch, it's there for a little snack.
Necessary calories. So I was telling Carlisle, I was telling Adeline. So I guess it was the last time you were here. I was telling her about your experience as a hair mask using some Farrow, and I think that was the straw that convinced her to try it, and it worked pretty well, didn't it, baby?
I got a hairbrush stuck in my hair, and then I put Farrow in it, and it just slided out.
Oh, that's awesome. That's a good idea. Did it make your hair nice and soft after you washed it out too?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, absolutely. I love using it as a hair mask. I do it like once a week, and it makes my scalp so much healthier, and it makes my hair so smooth. I'm like around, make everyone pet my head because my hair is so soft after I use it.
She does. She walks around going, man, my hair's so soft. It's so soft. It's funny.
I do.
So I finally, how I've said that I really want a foot cream. So what I did is I literally put I just slathered it on my feet and then threw socks on. And I put my little slips on, and I was just running around the house cleaning, doing whatever, because I can't sleep in socks. Some people can't. There's no way I could do that. And then, a little bit later in the day, I added some more, put it on, and they were so much more soft the next day. But then on top of it, the next day, I put them in a hydrogen peroxide bath where I do mostly water, a little bit of hydrogen peroxide, and just all the dead skin just sloughed off. It was amazing. It sounds disgusting, I know, but when you have that smooth, beautiful feet, it's like, ah. So there's a little tip for anybody that's watching.
You guys doing okay? I figure we probably got a few more minutes of their attention, and then
You guys can go whenever you want. Don't feel like you have to stay here. We're so happy we got to meet you, though.
Absolutely.
Do you want to go? Okay.
Thanks for visiting us.
Thank you and goodbye.
It was nice to meet you.
All right. So we're going to keep it down back there, right? Oh, that's okay, baby. Leave them right here, buddy. I'll get the chairs.
They're so awesome. Beautiful
Amused.
children. Such a statement to you as a man, the way they're so precious, so sweet, and so loving. You can just tell.
They're great kids. They're really great kids. So their mother and I are both very proud.
Yay. And so let's get to divorcing the beast system. What do you have to share about farming, freedom, any of those types of things? Because people are really catching on. It's starting to catch fire.
Yeah, our buddy Slim, they just had their conference in Colorado this past week, which I was not able to attend. We're gearing up now to plan. I'm actually speaking and helping with one in South Georgia later this September.
Awesome.
Yeah. And the part of the problem with all these media channels is it just barnstorms your brain with thought. I mean, I used to not be quite as concerned about food and shortages and all that, but I'm really starting to get I'm getting worried for our country.
Yes.
I don't worry about myself. I don't worry about my kids, but not everybody's farming and certainly knows their farmer. And it's all the other stuff that's going on, whether it's Ukraine or gender dysphoria, or it's a little overwhelming. But yeah, I don't have too many answers other than just love your neighbor and go hug a farmer. That's
So true. And people are lucky, like the people that live in California or Florida or places where just the fruit's just falling off the trees, on the neighborhood corner. But that's why I think
Hmm.
it's interesting. Oftentimes the videos that people listen to the least are the ones they need the most. And and this is something that people don't even realize how real it is. And I had a personal experience yesterday. It is now the third time, not the first time. It's never going to happen again. The third time I went to Whole Foods and they had no roast beef. And we get a certain one, it has no canola oil, all the stuff. But we're talking the full out deli, but all of the beef is missing. And you ask them, oh, so what's going on? Oh, there's a huge beef shortage. Well, that's not true. There's a huge shortage on meat packing. There's a huge shortage on people supplying it. And who owns Whole Foods, right? And so this is how real it's becoming. I'm going to have to now purchase meat to create deli meat out of because I really do like still having sandwiches or rolling up cheese with meat or whatever. And somebody who's a vegetarian doesn't have anything to worry about, but there's a lot of people who are not. And I think that when you go to a store and there's an empty space
Mm.
and it's consistently empty, you have to be waking up to what's going on. And so here we are, the British are coming, and we're playing like, Paul Revere, but nobody's really listening.
It's well, I think more people are listening than it's really hard. It's really hard to have a public voice that doesn't get demonetized or censored. And so I do think there are a lot of people listening. I mean, there's more and more people talking about things like this. And
Right.
to be clear, when that's what they want. They want an empty store shelf. They want you
Hmm.
scared to death. It's interesting. I just heard this in the last day or so, but so the Attorney General, I think for the state of Missouri and the state of Louisiana have sued Joe. I think they've sued the federal government, but they've named Biden, Fauci, a bunch of people for colluding and suppressing information with the social media companies. Now, this has to do, I think, mostly around masks and
Right.
all of that
Yeah.
fun. But the real problem is when it comes to health and diet and food, that same level of suppression of
Exactly.
it's been going on. It goes on across every aspect or facet of our world. It has to even the all the peaceful protests we had to deal with 2 years ago where buildings are burning in the background, but you don't hear the whole story. And so
Yeah. Also, I just happen to have a really good friend who worked for one of the largest produce companies, Del Monte, and he let me know that that's now Chinese owned, and that makes us very vulnerable, very, very vulnerable. And so, hey, Car, if you're having problems, just hop back on or whatever you need to do, because I see you struggling with your Wi-Fi. Uh,
Yeah, it keeps kicking me off.
so anyway, but yeah, so when you look at those things, like somebody in here was just saying, today may be beef shortages, tomorrow may be fruits and vegetables. And that's why right now, anyone that knows how to can,
Hmm.
why not do it?
well,
Why not do it?
that's my mother still cans. It's becoming a lost art, and it's phenomenal. I've been carnivoring here for about 2 months, just to tinker around, and I'll share this with you guys. I haven't formulated the complete thought yet, but if you've ever grown a garden, which I have, I grew up, my mom had a garden. Gardens are a lot of work. and they're seasonal, and I love my fruits and vegetables and all that fun stuff. But having said that, like with carnivore or
Mhm.
with eating predominantly meat, the animals do all the work. You just sort of have to usher them around and let them be, pigs and chickens and cows and all that fun stuff. So, I mean, if we truly get to a point where we have food shortages, which we won't have if you know your farmer.
Right.
If you connect with a
Not
farmer,
only know them, but support or even, buy a cow from them,
oh,
ahead of time. I'm going to purchase this cow ahead of time.
well, and you mentioned beef, and there's a short supply of, we export a ton of beef. And so again, back to this is just part of the story they want you to hear,
Yes.
as it relates to, I mean, we grow a ton of beef in this country. Unfortunately, right now we're exporting a lot of it. And, the same could be said for lamb, I find it funny. So goat meat is the most eaten meat on the planet.
Wow, I didn't even know that.
Yep. The more goat is consumed globally than any other ruminant species. We don't eat goat here,
Mhm.
like very rarely. And so
Mhm.
it's just, I find that funny. But so maybe find you a couple of goats if things get too grim. But yeah, I try, honestly, I try not to pay too much attention to it, like hyper focused on those two kids and, my immediate, draw a 3-hour circle around your house. And like, that's what you need to worry about.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah, no, that's so true. And to be honest, it was funny. I was studying Beatitudes yesterday, and I probably spent 3 hours in it. And you're like, okay, why would you spend 3 hours in that? Because I looked up every single word in the Hebrew. And the one thing that surprised me is it said, blessed are those who bring peace. And I was like, that's so fascinating that I would never have thought what bring means, because I think when people think about bringing peace as a Christian, you're going to go in and fix things, right? But that's not what bring means. That means to carry it yourself.
yeah.
And this is why, I talk about divorcing the beast system and, finding freedom through farming. If we have food and shelter, we really are, doing really well as far as survival goes. And so why not have those things lined up?
Well, and I would even say beyond surviving, just thriving. I mean, food, shelter, and community. Those are the three big pillars as far as I see it.
Yeah.
And so, no, I like your conceptualization of bringing peace. You're carrying it with you, and
You.
yeah,
You, as Texas Slim would say, sound money, sound communication, and sound health. You bring it. And so what do you have to do in order to bring those things? Whether it's Bitcoin or gold or silver or whatever makes you feel like you have assets or tradable, services or goods. And then beyond that, how healthy are you? The healthier you are, the less you're going to have to worry. And then finally, sound communication. And that, to me, goes back to networking and being involved in a community. And that's why I really like the Beef Initiative. And I love that so many of my clients have taken it seriously. And I don't say you have to purchase through them. Some of them have, and others have been, like, no, I want to find somebody local. So I'm not gonna do the beef box. I'm gonna actually go meet the Charles Mayfield of my town.
yep. I think we've mentioned it before, but for your listeners, that the Eat Wild website is a great place to locate people that grow food in your area. They do a very good job of sort of culling out. These are producers that service, direct to consumer, And so, yeah, eatwild.com is a great resource. You said health. I got to tell you, it's your number one asset. And, you know, we only get one body. And, you know, I've been in the paleo world. I mentioned earlier that I'm sort of tinkering with this carnivore thing. Farming fortunately keeps me fairly healthy. I lift a few weights here and there. Probably should do more of that, but your health is the biggest thing. I was just doing an interview a couple days ago. Talk from a skin health standpoint. You know, you got acute issues and then you've got chronic issues, and you know, Farrow's going to do well with both of those. But a lot of these chronic issues, both skin wise and just generally speaking health, there's so many underlying problems. You know, the seed oil things coming up very in a big way now, and just all the preservatives and junk that they put in food, much less our skincare. And so I think that's a really good baseline for folks to just start getting all that junk out of your diet. You'll be amazed at how much better you feel. And, you know, make sure you're getting a lot of sleep, you know, 7-8 hours a night's sort of the standard. So that's just some really low hanging fruit when it comes to just general metabolic health.
Yeah. And definitely I like the eat wild thing, because it is one of the things that, you know, we do live, especially in Texas. My gosh, we live in a place where there's wild boar, there's deer, there's so much as far as, you know your local hunter. And most of them have a freezer full because, you know, they actually eat what they kill, which I think is huge. I was thinking though, because my daughter taught me how to stay suspicious. Um, that was our motto on Let Me Ask My Mom, and we'd always end the show with, you know, stay suspicious. And one of the things that I was thinking as I walked out of Whole Foods the other day was, isn't it interesting, of all of the meats they could have started with, that they start with beef? You know, it's probably the one that people love the most. It might even be maybe the most nutritious. I don't know. I don't know all the details about all of the different meats. Maybe you can educate us on that. But I don't think it's an accident that it's chosen as the first one to kind of start disappearing. It started in restaurants first, and then now it's happening in the stores.
Yeah, well, to address the point you made, I would say that beef is one of the most, and I would even say conventional or grass finished is one of the most complete sources of nutrition on the planet, and so, you know, and that trickles down to other ruminant species, whether it's lamb or goat or whatever the case may be, but yeah. You know, beef's such a big staple. It's so funny. Like, beef consumption in this country's gone down precipitously in the last 25, 30 years, and yet it's still being blamed for all these health problems.
So true.
But yeah, no. So for all the vegans out there, I would like to see them go spend a day chewing grass and converting that into nutrition. They can't do it. Their stomachs aren't, you know, our stomachs are not designed to do what a cow can do. And when we start talking about nutrients and nutrient density, you know, the B12, iron, all of these various things, which we're all short on. And so, yeah, beef is amazing. And so find someone that's growing it and get to know them, and hopefully secure your food future.
So cool. And then somebody in the chat was saying that they are raising quail right now. And then another person was saying, or maybe it was her too. Yeah. Gosh, April, you're on it, man. She's dehydrating and getting into fermenting too, which is so good for you. So good for you. But I heard a word that a lot of people I don't think know what it means. What is ruminant? Tell people what a ruminant animal is.
Okay, so well, everyone knows what it means to ruminate on something, right? You sort of gestate it in your mind. So ruminant species, so a cow, I believe, has 7 different stomachs, but they also have a rumen. So when a cow, actually, this is a really cool thing. So when a cow is when a calf is suckling its mother, okay, so a newborn calf suckles its mother, okay. Well, the udder's way down here, and so the calf has to sort of reach under and come up with its neck. I never knew this until a couple years ago. So when a cow's neck does that, it shuts off the pathway to that young calf's rumen. So the rumen is like a fermenting pot, okay, and it's got all these bugs and various things in it. So the calf is bypassing the rumen because it's taking in milk. And so if you ever bottle feed a calf, they tell you to put the bottle up so that the calf has to reach up with its neck.
So interesting. See, I never knew that. I'm so glad I asked.
So a cow will go consume copious amounts of grass, okay, into its rumen, and then it'll go chill somewhere, and it'll burp these things up. The cow burps, this terrible thing. It'll burp it up. You've heard the term a cow chewing its cud. Maybe you have or haven't.
Yes, of course, yes.
So it'll keep bringing these things up, and it's pre-digesting. Poor Carlisle, her
I
internet.
know, that's okay.
So it will fill the rumen, and then it'll go ruminate on and chew its cud, and it's just preparing that it's fermenting these things and preparing them to be metabolized by the other stomachs. And so it'll ingest it, ferment it, bring it back up, chew it again, and then it will swallow it again and get it into its stomachs and turn it into ribeyes and chuck roasts and all sorts of amazing nutrient packed protein. So
that is such a cool story. Like I feel like I'm talking to the gourmet caveman. He is like, I love all that technical little detail. And all it does too is it just totally helps me become even more mesmerized with God, right? He is so like intricately brilliant, to create that where it literally bypasses the fermentation because it doesn't need it for milk, and then it's down for grass. Like that is so cool.
It's God's got a plan, right? He's unbelievable at how he put us all together. I just thought about a pretty, I don't know if this is going to help your city dwelling listeners, but another great way to sort of stave off some food shortages is backyard chickens. The egg is another amazingly dense source of nutrients. And again, if you've got a household full of kids and you got a bunch of food scraps, this is, chickens will eat almost anything. So, and they give you eggs in return. So that's another, if you're a little worried and you're somewhat rural, then get you some chickens. That would be a great way to
and even if you are living in a city, you could perhaps lease,
Sure.
space on someone's farm for your own chickens and pay them to take care of it while they're taking care of somebody else's. I think there's a lot more opportunities out there to co-op than people realize. And so those are the things that I think more of us need to start securing so that these ranchers can have the product and the harvest available to them when the time comes.
Yeah, I think Carlisle mentioned it in one of our previous interviews, like get out of the farmers markets. I don't do farmers markets personally. And so I don't think about that as a means, certainly for the consumer. But yeah, get out to a farmer's market, meet some folks. Again, if you're doing, I'm in a glut of egg production right now. Our layers just came in, and so I've got a guy driving down from Knoxville this afternoon to pick up six flats of eggs. 180 eggs. He and one of his neighbors.
Wow.
And so, but yeah, get out farmers markets, eatwild.com and connect with these folks. And yeah, there's there's a bunch of different ways to skin that cat.
Yeah.
But
Have you ever done, I don't remember the name of it, maybe Carlisle will, but it's when you put the actual eggs in lime water and it actually preserves them completely for years, which is so cool.
they call it glassing.
Yes. Yes.
Hmm.
And I have never personally done it, but I sold 5 flats of eggs to a local person just three or 4 weeks ago, and they were glassing them,
Wow.
which was fun. I because they said we'll take them, but don't wash them, and so yeah, they wanted the. I mean, our eggs aren't very dirty, but I have never done it. But yes, they'll keep for certainly over a year.
Yeah.
Mhm.
I've
That's
heard
crazy. It looks super funny too.
bunch of eggs in a jar.
Yeah.
I think it's brilliant. And imagine if you could put aside enough for, 6 months or a year or whatever. Carlisle buys 3 flats at a time herself. She's not selling
Yeah.
them.
My egg person is like an hour away.
Well, and especially if they haven't been refrigerated or industrially washed, eggs will keep. I mean, I've had eggs that I've eaten, 6-7 weeks after they were laid, and they're perfectly
Mhm.
fine.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, I mean, eggs are another great option. Having some salt laying around, I think we can talk about sort of curing. Having an old homesteader book laying around as a reference guide to the old Foxfire series or any of those is a great reference tool to. I mean, you can get out and forage too. You mentioned hunting a minute ago too, Carmen. Hunt if you're not a hunter, get to know one. So
Yeah, for sure. No, I love that. And what was the name of that book again?
these I don't know that they're in print anymore, but Foxfire was a whole series of books.
Okay.
I'll tell you a modern book that I think it's called Polyface Micro. Joel Salatin's most recent book was basically taking the polyface farming model and shrinking it down to more of a homesteading size, which is frankly probably a little bit more aligned with where I am size wise on my farm. It's a notch above homesteading. We don't have that many
Right.
animals, but Joel's been at this for 40-50 plus years. I mean, he started farming when he was a kid, and they're a very successful farm in Virginia. And so he wrote a book basically taking their model and shrinking it for, you got 5 acres in the middle of the country and you want to homestead. And, again, for your city dwellers, buy the book and go find somebody to run your Polyface Micro, out in the foothills of Texas, and you're good to go.
All right.
Mhm.
So what's a polyface micro? Come on, you gotta share the spill the tea. Tell us the deets.
Well, so Polyface is the name of Joel's farm,
Mhm.
Polyface Farms. He came to, I would say, prominence. He was featured in Michael Pollan's book, The Omnivore's Dilemma, which is a landmark book as far as I'm concerned. But Joel's a prolific writer. I believe he was a teacher before he got full-time into farming. But he wrote a book. So micro is basically just microscopically scaling down what they do at Polyface to fit more into a homesteader type model.
That's so cool. What a great man, and how awesome. And this is where community and communication is a really important thing, because when we share these things, they could seem like nothing, but a year from now, when things aren't, possibly, I'm not saying they will, I'm hoping for a timeline that is beautiful, but if things go south, people will have some ideas in the back of their head on which way to go. Um, Polyface Micro. That's so cool. It's an odd name for a farm, Polyface, but
Well, it's the farm of many faces,
oh, got it.
right? And so, the standard the standard model in farming looks for animals looks a lot like when I say standard, I mean sort of the industrialized model is monospeciation, monocropping, wheat or soy or corn, and monospeciation. Well, I'm a cow farmer, or I'm a beef farmer, or I'm a pig farmer.
Got
And,
it.
natural systems, look at any healthy ecology in the world. There's
Diverse.
multiple plant species and multiple animal species, all living and thriving and and working together. I mean, you have the predator prey thing, but that's a part of any ecology. And so, it's interesting. So with any animal, you have parasites and viruses and various ailments that can harm the animal. You don't see parasites is the big one. So you don't see a lot of parasitic crossover between species. So chickens can't get cows sick, and cows can't get pigs sick, and they all play an important but different role in sort of building soil. I've had a bunch of people ask me this lately. What is regenerative agriculture? What is regenerative farming? And I've basically boiled it down to, it's when you're building soil. Okay. And so, there's a bunch of stuff that plays into building healthy soil, but one of those is a multi-speciation approach to animal management. So if you look at natural systems, the wildebeest on the Serengeti has migratory birds and birds that the egret and the rhino, all in nature, all ruminant species, all herd animals have some avian partner, coming behind them to clean up all the poop. And so, yes, it's the farm of many faces. That was a tangential offshoot there, but yes, Polyface is the farm of many faces. And I want to say their logo has chicken, a sheep, and a cow on it, sort of
Yeah, I think that's awesome. And so Captain of My Soul in the chat was saying that they're going to purchase some of your natural moisturizer.
Lord help us.
I know. And so, as many of you know, we're in it to help Charles. We're in it to help the small farmer. We're in it to help the regenerative farmer. We're in it to help the man who cares about his children. We're in it to share with the world all the benefits of community and healthy food and healthy living and love. And so please participate in purchasing this incredible bundle. Here we are again with the
I'll link it.
face food, the skin food, and the evening tonic for the inside.
So have you been using the elixir at night, Carmen?
So remember when I said I'll do your sponsorship, but yeah, I don't know if I can handle all of this stuff. Ask Carly. Carly, do I do any supplements? Do I drink anything without you putting it in my mouth?
Never. Absolutely not. I got.
And I don't know
You and Dad are both that way. I text Dad every single.
Oh, she froze.
Oh,
Yeah.
no.
So I will promise as my commitment to you that I will give it a whole 10 days, starting tonight. And then we'll talk about it, because really,
I can't hear. Sorry, y'all keep breaking up on me.
yeah, sorry, Car, you're just there, and like you keep freezing. So
But
you can go and just stay in the chat.
Carlisle, I will say this: every time you've frozen, it has actually been a gorgeous picture of you. There was one with your finger up on your chin. The smile now is fantastic. Carmen, no judgment. So with the CBD,
No, I know. I was just being honest,
yeah, no, I appreciate that. Honesty is a pretty good policy. The reason I ask is, for your listener, some people like to use. I actually use it in the morning.
Okay.
I've played around with both, but I really like it. It's got an orange. I flavor it with orange essential oil, so it's kind of got this citrusy, and so I sort of like that flavor in my mouth in the morning, and it's just sort of part of my morning routine. But I wanted to mention, for your listeners and everything, you forgot to mention, and just because it's important to me, Bochy's Place is also,
Oh, yes.
we're
Yes.
doing this Summer of Love campaign with you guys, which I'm excited to continue. And so we'll be donating proceeds. So for those that are interested in and want to try Farrow, the discount code is Studer, Studer, or you can go to farrow.life/Studer, and it throws you automatically into the store, and the discount's already applied at the end. But we're tracking all of this to make a donation to Bochy's Place. So,
and a donation to Carlisle. We're so happy with our products. I can't even tell you. It's really fun to meet somebody the way that we met, so organically, so cool. Like it was just like this background thing that was happening, and then to be able to watch you grow this summer, and then to have so far your best month. And it's not over yet, everyone. You can participate, you can give to Bochy's Place, you can give to Carlisle and I, you can give to Charles, and you can end up with awesome skin. So it's a win-win-win-win-win.
yes, indeed. And yeah, no, it's been so much fun working with you guys so far. And I've told Carlisle several times how appreciative I am of her tenacity and trying different things. She did the hair mask, and I love it. And we are going to develop a Studer product. We got to figure that one out. You're thinking foot cream?
When I said foot cream and then Carlisle said you should put magnesium in it, I was like, oh my gosh, that sounds like heaven, because then I could put it on, you know, and just that extra like relaxation in your body from the magnesium. It just sounded amazing to me. And for people who could sleep with socks on, they could do that.
Yeah.
Do it at night. I'll lay there for a little while. I'll let it just kind of sit for a little bit, and then at some point I'll just kick off the socks in the middle of the night.
Well,
Yeah.
I've got this chigger situation that hit me. So my dad, we were out for dinner. My dad turned 72 yesterday, and so we were out for dinner, and I had the same boots on. I mean, we just sort of like left the farm and went to dinner, and I'm sitting at dinner, and my feet are on fire. Like it's like something's just gnawing at them, and I'm like, well, I guess I'll just check it when I get home. I posted a video on Instagram last night, and I mean, it's you can't hardly. It's just a layer of bite. And so I did sleep with socks on last night. I lathered. Fortunately, I'm here in the headquarters of Farrow.
Yeah, so you just lathered up.
I copious amounts of skin food on, and then socks over the top of that. And it did help.
I would do it in that case. And so, Carlisle, you have an interesting chigger story. Would you like to share it, or can I?
Yeah. Well,
yeah,
I'll try. I'll see how my Wi-Fi is working. So
it's not working.
What was that?
You've already blocked
Okay,
it.
you can share.
Yeah, I'll tell the story. Sorry, guys. It's always better when she tells the story, because she's got that dramatic background and she knows how to set up a story because of her comedy. So you're stuck with me telling the story. But when Carlisle was about 9 years old, she booked a really big part, or a big deal, because it was a Fox Studios. I don't know if you've ever heard of the TV show Prison Break. Have you ever heard of that? So Carlisle was on the first episode of the second season, and she was supposedly the little girl that was in the forest with her dad while he was hunting, when he comes upon them after they have escaped from prison. And they grab her, and the Italian guy's got the gun to her head, which is a whole nother thing as a mother, like, you know, checking that prop gun. And I'm sorry, Alex Baldwin, I don't believe you. I'm sorry. The way that the prop guys came up to us, they showed us it, they went through the whole thing, they went with why do they do it. I mean, it was an undertaking. So I just don't buy the whole Alex thing. But she does an amazing job. But while they're on the set, one of the guys gets literally hurt, cuts his finger, his hand, something. So they have to stop shooting. It was supposed to be a 1 day shoot for her, and it ended up being a day and a half. So whenever you're working with a large studio, whatever you're wearing, which we brought from home, they told us, this is the look we want. And so I dressed her the way and they are like, we need to have the clothes here because big studios refuse to let any mistakes fall. So they can't have a mismatch in continuity on wardrobe or anything. And so they kept her clothes. I had to put her in a different outfit because we brought several. And they take her clothes and wash them with all the people's clothes that had been on set that day. And there was a ton of people were in an area where there was chiggers out in the forest. So her clothes got washed with chiggers, and chiggers do not get washed out unless it hits a really high temperature. So what happened is chiggers got washed into her clothes. She goes on set, she's working for half a day. We get home and she has hundreds,
Yep.
hundreds of chigger bites all up and down her body. And that was one of the most horrible things as a mother, to just be like, why did they wash those clothes? If they just would have left them alone, she would have been fine. But that's what happens when you're in those really expensive, like high-end studio things. People are coming in helicopters and they're ushering you off. They ask you what you want for breakfast, not here's breakfast. They are like, well, what are the options? Anything that you want, And so you think you're being so luxuriated on, but instead you're getting chiggers installed on your clothes. It was horrible.
And we wonder why those people have such a flawed view of reality.
Oh, they're so spoiled. They're so spoiled. It's insane. Yeah. All the guys were really nice to her. It was really fun. We had a great time. She had a good role. So it was fun. If anyone wants to see Carlisle when she was 9 on Prison Break, season 2, episode 1. It's kind of fun.
I'll have to look that up.
Yeah. Yeah, your kids might enjoy that episode if it doesn't scare them. They won't want to be alone in the forest.
So if we were going to make a TV show now, what would it be about?
Car. I actually would love to do a TV show based on all these survivor stories. I mean, there is no end to the content. It's insane.
Yeah.
Yay, Lisa D said she just ordered Farrow skin for her and her mom, and she's so excited to try it. Thank you, Lisa. Lisa, thank you for being a moderator without me asking permission. You were like the only one on that day until Cheryl Beck showed up that I was like, okay, I trust her. I've seen her a lot. She says good things. And so thanks again. And so any last minute comments or anything that you want to share about farm life or cool farm stories?
Well, let's see. I didn't want to embarrass her too much. My daughter and son, he'd already jumped once. My daughter jumped off a 30-foot cliff into the lake on Sunday. That was a first.
Oh, fun.
Yes. But no, I mean, the farm's just, we could always use a little bit more rain. Things are going well right now. It's just this week. I mean, we had planned this this talk today because I knew my kids were going to be up here, and I really did want you both to meet them, and they are absolutely instrumental in this company. I mean, to be clear, I do most of the heavy lifting, but they're amazing, and it's one of the big motivators for me to continue to do this. Is I have a son and a daughter, and I don't want crap on their skin. But no, the farms, there's always a challenge. Right now it's chiggers, and I have turkeys that I have to get them out of the brooder this evening. So it'll be a late night for me.
How big are they?
Oh, they're they're probably this
Oh,
big
wow, they're
now.
bigger than I
Oh
thought.
yeah.
They're like teenage turkeys.
Yeah, they're coming up on their teenage years right now. And so you got to get them out of the brooder and out on grass, so they're chasing around bugs and all that fun stuff. So that's going to happen this evening at some point.
And
You
so
know?
what does that mean? Take them out of the brooder means that that's where they like incubated and then they go into like a place that's more for babies where you
Yeah,
can
so
be more controlled and protected.
so we talked about, backyard chickens for your folks. So if you order chickens, they show up alive. So they weren't hatched here, but they show up, and a brooder is basically mimicking mama hen or mama turkey. And so it's warm, it's dry, there's food, there's water, it's protected. And we use really deep bedding, like wood shavings to put a lot of carbon in there. And so, they're all poultry, chickens, turkeys, guineas, whatever. They don't pee, they just poop. And so their poop is really, really high in nitrogen. You want that nitrogen to have some carbon to bind to. If you've ever smelt like ammonia, that's how I really know it's time to get them out, is that there's a little hint in the air of it's
Okay.
getting, and they're growing.
Yeah.
But yes, typically they'll spend 2 to 4 weeks in a brooder situation. And then they're, big and hardy enough to survive and outside of the brooder. And so we take them out and put them in our poultry tractors, which is this big thing we drag through the field, and they'll spend 3 or 4 or 5 weeks in there. And then they'll actually, turkeys, they'll get too big for the chicken tractor. And then they'll come out of there, and we'll use poultry netting and bury them about the farm.
And so this is your first time with turkeys?
Oh no, I've done turkeys. I do turkeys every year. I just do one batch.
Okay, got it. And so do you find that it's different, or do you like the taste of turkey better? Is it too much of a hassle to do it more than once a year? Like, what are your thoughts on that?
I would actually love to do turkey year round. Most consumers in the US eat turkey 3 months out. I mean, forget the, deli turkey, which is not real turkey probably. But most of the turkeys consumed in this country are consumed between November and December.
Right.
So, but if we have a damaged bird, so if a wing gets bruised, then at the processor they have to cut that wing off.
Right.
And so generally what I'll do with my non-perfect birds is I'll grind them into ground turkey and make like sausage out of it.
Right.
And so our turkey sausage is amazingly popular, but I only have it right now, a couple months out of the year between Thanksgiving and whenever we sell out of it. So I love turkeys, Carmen. They're way more gregarious than chickens. They're insanely aggressive foragers. So when it comes to eating bugs and getting after it, they're phenomenal.
That's cool.
Yeah.
Do you know that I heard or I read in Benjamin Franklin's biography or autobiography, whatever, that he actually wanted the symbol. Did you know that? The symbol of the United States, the animal to not be an eagle but a turkey, because an eagle is more of a vulture, and a turkey is not, which I thought was interesting.
Oh, I've always heard. I guess I should check my dictionary or my encyclopedia, but I've always heard that the turkey was the original national bird of the United States.
Oh, okay. Well, maybe that's. I was thinking there was a war of something, but I read it so long ago that I can't give details. I just remember being surprised when I read it, because you think of an eagle as being so amazing, right? But probably because we grew up with it. I never thought about it being a vulture or something that eats the dead.
I have to say this, so we were talking about you're going to love this. So we talked about Brian Keith, Red Beard Accelerator, earlier. I was on a call with Brian yesterday, and one of the other callers he calls in from his office studio, and he had a new flag on the wall. And again, I don't know all of the history, but Brian recognized the flag, and he's like, "That's an awesome flag you got there." And I'm telling you this because I think it's kind of cool and germane to our conversation about the turkey. It's the original American flag. Have you ever seen it?
No, well, you mean the one with the circle?
No,
No,
no. This is
no.
the original American flag.
Like the
It's a
pilgrims?
this was no. It was George Washington's
Okay.
original manifestation of a flag, and it's a tree. And
So cool.
and on the flag it has this tree, and then at the top it says an appeal to heaven.
Wow.
And it was just, we're starting this country.
Yeah.
Be
Well,
with
whenever I see trees, I think of family trees, but then I also think of the tree of good and evil and the tree of knowledge, and or the tree of knowledge of good and evil and the tree of life, I think. Anyway, it is a very powerful symbol. I love trees. I'm obsessed with them. I think they're just amazing, and I have lots of them around my house, and I feel so blessed because of it. Um, and so there was something else I was going to ask you. Oh, I know. It's the number one question that I get regarding, Farrow and Charles and all that. And is Charles single? Do you want to go public with your personal life?
I am in a very serious relationship with a new company right now.
There you go. That's your real mistress, right?
Between chasing those kids and farm animals, I don't think I'd be a very fun date right now.
Yeah.
So I, I appreciate the question. There's some jokes in there, I'm sure, but I'm flattered
Yeah.
and also very busy.
Yeah. I can relate. All right. And so thank you so much for being here. I appreciate you, Carlisle. Have a beautiful day. I hope you are unfrozen soon. Thank your children for being here. And anyone that wants to purchase Farrow skin food and space food and elixir, go to farrow.life/Studer. That will take you straight to our checkout page, or you could just go to Farrow Life and then use the Studer name for the code.
Bless you both. Carlisle, I'm sorry for your internet woes today, but it's always a pleasure. See, she's even frozen. Look at that.
I
Look
know,
at that.
right now.
That's like a
She always
like
looks
a
like
mystery pig.
I know.
That's so fun. All right, well, I've got a client I've got to head to, so have a great day.
It's horrible. It's terrible.
Go
So
out there and
sorry.
secure your food and your food intelligence and your community intelligence and your health intelligence.